Today, we will be looking at how you can draft your own business plan as an entrepreneur and business owner. And the main purpose of this is because we understand that a lot of people, when you're starting your own business, you don't necessarily have the funds to go and hire an expert or to go and hire a business advisor to draft a formal professional business plan. Now, if you are that person, you have a few options. But today I just want us to focus on how you can actually draft your own business plan. And that's very important and very necessary because it gives you a grasp on your business as the business owner, as opposed to getting someone to draft your own business plan. If you do it yourself, I've experienced that you get a better understanding of the processes, you get a better understanding of your markets, of your financials, of what you're expecting to get, when you're going to break even, and all of those things that are necessary for you to know. You get to know them, you get to find out, and you just get to do the work and you get to own the work. So I would advise any entrepreneur to just go out and try and do it yourself before getting a professional to do it. So we're going to focus on a few things, 8 key things, and I'm going to try not to make this as long, but I'm going to try to be short and precise and to the point. Now, I know that there are a lot of people that have been saying you don't need a business plan. I think that's nonsense. You need a business plan because when you apply for funding in South Africa, the first thing that any bank or any government funding institution like CEDA or NYDA will ask for is a business plan, because they want to know that you have been wise enough to plan everything and that you're not just, going wherever the wind is pushing you. So it's very important if you're a person who wants to get finance from a private investor or from a government funding agency. So you need a business plan. So it's always good that you have it on your systems, you have it, so that it also can help to keep you in check, So let's get straight to it. Now, there are about 8 things that I just want us to go through. So that's the executive summary, what that should look like, your business description, your service offerings, your market, the SWOT analysis, and these are all basic things that we all know. But I want to give you a few tips, having had drafted a lot of business plans for people and having had, being on the other side and advising clients who are expecting entrepreneurs to draft business plans that want funding, if I'm making any sense. So SWOT analysis, marketing strategies and sales, operational plan, financial forecasting. So those are the 8 or 9 things I just want us to go through. The first tip I have is you obviously have to, I think for me, one of the most important points is as an entrepreneur, it's important that within your business plan, you understand that the executive summary and the financial forecasting, those are the most important sections within your business plan, in my opinion. Why? Because if I have let me just look here. If I'm a funder or an investor and you come over and you give me a 50-page business plan, I probably don't have time to go through everything. So the first section I'm going to look at is the executive summary. So what's this business about? What's the deal? Who's this person? And I'm going to go to the financials because the numbers always tell a story. So I'm going to go and check. So when are you going to be breaking even? What are your operating expenses? What are your variable costs and non-variable costs? All of those things. So that's what I would look at, and I would assume that that's what any normal person would look at. So focus on your executive summary, focus on your financials. Make sure that your financials are up to scratch. But I just want to go through the basic for today. Now, executive summary. We all know what an executive summary is. It's a summary of the whole business plan. As I said, people that don't have time most of the time they'll just go through the executive summary. That's all that they'll do. They'll just look at your executive summary. Now, in our firm, we're always advising people to have these 4 things in the executive summary: your business description, your target market and positioning, your operations and management, and your financial summary. Okay, business description, obviously, we must know what the business is about, who started the business. Target market and positioning, who is the company targeting, and how are you expecting to reach those your audience. Operations and management, who will be running the business, the strengths of the team. Are the people that you have around you, are they skilled and well equipped to do the job that they need to do? That's very, very important for a funder or an investor, because the people that you have around you says a lot about your business and you as the visionary. And most importantly, the financial summary. Now, a lot of people leave this section out. What is the financial summary? What are you asking for? If you're asking for anything. So if you're writing a business plan and you're sending it to NYDA and you need 100,000 rands worth of equipment, then your financial summary would be that, Global Leadership Consultants is soliciting funding to the value of 100,000 rand that will be used towards X, Y, and Z. That's very, very important because it sets a tone and it lets the person that's reading know that you know what you want and you've designed this thing particularly or specifically for them, for them to read. So that's the executive summary, and I hope that makes sense. So the business description, target, obviously people have different approaches. So we're just sharing our approach as Global Leadership Consultants and as the Startup Academy so that you can go and see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Business description, target market and positioning, operations and management, and the financial summary. So that would be the executive summary for me. Next would then be the business description. Now you get to go. So for me, the executive summary sort of has all of the points that are important in the business plan, but as a summary. Then after that, you get to go and elaborate on each section and each point. You get to, add your meat and you get to add, your side, whatever it is that you call them, So your business description, then you go in deeper, you look at your values and all of your mission statements and all of those things. You go, your service offerings is the following section. You get to go and describe exactly what you're offering. What are your services? What is the product that you're offering? And, so how is it different? This is the point that a lot of entrepreneurs don't get when it comes to this section. How is it different to your competitor? So in how you package and how you are presenting this section, it's always important for you to have an underlying theme of how your product and how your service offering is different. And then we move over to the market. So this is how the market was and is in terms of the profit, the projected future earnings in the market, its importance and contributions to GDP. So you look at all of the things surrounding the market and the size of the market within your specific industry. So a lot of people will start by looking at, perhaps if you are in the fast food industry, you'll look at the data around how big is the fast food industry in your country or in South Africa, and who controls the chunk of that industry and why are they controlling a chunk of that industry? Why is your product going to be different to what they are doing? All of those things are important because it lets whoever is reading your business plan know that you know what you're talking about and you've done your work and you know the broader market and you know your industry in terms of what it is that you'll be doing. Then we move over to the SWOT analysis. Obviously, that's very simple and easy. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and threats. Interesting story here. I had someone that his business plan got rejected. He was applying for funding for about 3 million rands, and his business plan got rejected because the funders saw that his weaknesses within the business plan and what he wrote as weaknesses, it was something that they couldn't overlook. So the SWOT analysis again plays a very important part. So the guy lost out on 3 million rands because the funders saw that the weaknesses that he had noted down were detrimental to the business, and there were things that they could not overlook as the funders. So SWOT analysis is also key. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your opportunities? What are your threats? Marketing strategies and sales. So your target market, your channel and positioning strategy, your pricing strategy. So how are you going to do all of these things? And then we move over to your operational plan. So who will be doing what, how, and why? Who will be doing what, how, and why are those particular people going to be doing what they'll be doing? So if you'll have a director, HR manager, sales rep, so why is everyone there? Why are you choosing those particular roles and so that's very important because the team around you says a lot about the business itself, And then most importantly, you go and you get your financial forecasting. Now, a lot of people go about this in different ways. But I think for me to simplify it, these are the 3 things that are important in my view, and I might be wrong, but in my view, and based on the experience that we have, having drafted hundreds of business plans for clients, it's important. Your income is important. So how much do you expect, or how much are you expecting? So in your financial forecasting, you must have a section that details or speaks to your income. And the monthly breakdown of that is also equally important. So month 1, I'm expecting 6,000 Rand. Month 2, I'm expecting, up until month 12. Then your expenses are important. I think this is basic accounting. Your expenses are important. So, in fact, even before moving over to the expenses, in terms of your income, it's important for you to also detail, and this is something that a lot of people leave out, how you'll be getting that income, so that whoever is reading your business plan knows that you haven't thumbsucked the numbers. So if you're saying, I'm going to be making 6,000 rands a month, so if it's 6,000 Rand a month, I must just get a calculator. 6,000 Rand a month, for argument's sake, let's say that is, let's say 4,000 Rand a month, 1,000 Rand a week, So how are you going to reach those targets? So then you say, okay, I'll be selling, let's say for argument's sake, because I've got funny faces here on my desk, if I'm selling funny faces for 1 Rand, South African rands, then I'll need to sell 1,000 funny faces per week to reach my target of 4,000 rands a month for my income. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. So it's important for you to detail and to show that you know how to get to the target that you've set as a business. Expenses, so what are your variable expenses? The expenses that are always changing. What are your non-variable expenses? Non-variable expenses like your rent, the things that are always constant and stay the same. Your variable expenses would be maybe your electricity, maybe your petrol and all of those things, So it's important also for you to set the tone and to let everybody know that you know exactly approximately how much things are going to cost you. And then you move over to the profits. So profits is income minus your expenses. That gives you your profits. So when are you expecting to make money? How much will you be making? Now, here's the problem. People always, and this is largely first-time entrepreneurs, they always set high standards, or not even standards, but they would say that they're going to make $1 million within the first 3 months. And that just always leaves a bad taste in the mouth of the person that is reading the business plan, because you're not really being realistic, Even if you know you're going to make $1 million in 3 months, it's always better to undersell than to, oversell and not deliver. So the important thing to note there is, whenever you do your projections, whenever you are doing your financial forecasting, in terms of how much you're going to make, your expenses and everything, keep in mind that maybe it's okay for you to make a loss in the first 2 months or 3 months. Maybe you'll break even after 6 months after the business has existed. Those are the sort of things that let the people know that you are in touch with your industry, with your market, with your product, and with whatever it is that you're doing, because you are aware that you're not going to make money from month one. You're not going to be rich in 6 months, and you're willing to stick it out until the process has run its course. So I think those are some of the key points. You can download this document, so we're going to put it up. You can download it and just have a look. There's no one size shoe fits all approach to this. Whatever works for you, that's what you do. Whatever works for the person that you're submitting the business plan to. Remember that other departments or other organizations will give you their format, and they'll say, this is the format that we want you guys to follow. So just be mindful of the fact that you will always be editing and editing and editing, especially if you're a person that's raising funds and raising money, and raising capital for your venture. You'll always be editing and re-editing your business plan. So I hope this helps, and I hope that you've learned a thing or few. This is largely for the people that have never had a business plan and that are just starting. I just thought it would be great if we simplified it and